Good evening from InvestSharp. This is Randy Smotone with your Wednesday, March 31st market update. On the economic front, the ADP employment report showed a loss of 23,000 private sector jobs. Market didn't seem to be too happy with that. The EIA petroleum status showed our ninth straight weekly build in crude by 2.9 million barrels. And I think the only reason oil's holding up as well as it is, a lot of speculation that because of the factory orders are continuing to increase, that they believe the gasoline demand will continue to increase. So they will eventually draw down our crude inventories. So on deck for tomorrow, we will have the U.S. motor vehicle sales, weekly jobless claims, construction spending, ISM manufacturing index, and the EIA nat gas report. A lot of people watching the RIM earnings, Research in Motion, actually did have a miss. Their fourth quarter earnings were $1.27 earnings per share. Estimate was for $1.28. Revenue came in at $4.1 billion. Estimate was for $4.3 billion. So, they reported their margins are pretty good. They have good margins, and they actually have increased their guidance for Q1. So RIM's actually holding up pretty well. They initially sold it off pretty hard, but who knows what it'll be like in the morning when the market opens. As far as instead of the extended hours, but extended hours right now it's down, about $2.84, around $71 and something. So it's not too bad right now. So and it's got 7.5 million shares traded in extended hours trading. So let's see. Let's go on to the dollar. So the dollar and copper were down today. Gold, silver, and oil were up. Take a look at the UUP. We're coming back down to this the downtrend line where we had broken out the big gap. We filled this gap now, so we'll watch the dollar from here, but probably could turn and go higher. Let's see, light sweet crude futures were up $1.39 to settle at $83.76 a barrel. Over to the West Texas Intermediate crude chart. We've been watching this. We've been bouncing between about 80 and about 83. We printed 83.85 as our high. Once we print 84, this 84 here, we'll have a quadruple top breakout. And oil's been acting pretty strong, so I'm not sure what's going on here, but it seems like it wants to break out. So if we break out, I would think crude will get back to somewhere in the low 90s. So we'll see how that plays out. But so continue to watch the energy stocks. Let's take a look at the Dow. Dow closed down 50 points to 10,856. S&P closed down 3 points to 1,169. Nasdaq closed down 12 points to 2397, and the Russell closed down 5 points to 678. The S&P held up the best by being down only 0.33%, and the Russell was the weakest by being down 0.77%. So the Russell kind of led us up, and it seems to be weakening. So I want to watch, like the Dow actually broke its uptrend line. We've been in this kind of channel, and the Dow actually broke it today. And you notice we've had this bearish divergence. We're going up, and the MACD is declining. So, I think we're going to get a pullback. We've been talking about it forever, and it never happens. But, eventually it will. It just, So, I would expect maybe possibly first stop somewhere around the 10,700 or so. And we could pull back even further, maybe get back to the 30 or more. We'll kind of look at that later, but that's initially. You look at the S&P, we're still in this this up channel, the uptrend. And again, we've got this bearish divergence on the MACD, which I've been watching. And then let's look at the Russell. The Russell also, again, we've got this divergence, but we actually broke down out of its channel, and it hasn't been quite as clean a channel, but and it tried to go higher, and it got pushed back today. It was rejected. So the Russell, like I said, it's been a little weaker, so I would expect this. We really haven't come down and tested this again, even though we tested here, we got rejected. We kind of consolidated a couple days here and broke out higher. I'd expect us to come back and retest this at least at 650. So we'll watch for that if we do get this pullback we're talking about. And if you look at the IWM, look at the selling that's been happening in the Russell. Look at all this volume, selling, selling, selling. No buying here. The last week, it's all mostly selling. So that's why another reason I think we're going to get our pullback. So let's look at the McClellan oscillator. course, this weakness is actually just, pulled us back even more. So we're just, we're in the oversold. Minus 23 is not very oversold. To really be oversold, we need to get down here to the minus 40 to minus 80 range, somewhere around in here. Let's go take a look at the VIX. The VIX looks like it's in a little pennant, and the MACD's kind of up, so I'm thinking we're going to break out to this upside here of this little pennant in the VIX. Let's take a look at gold. Keep an eye on gold in the strong. It tried to break out today, but it just didn't quite have the volume. So watch 110 here. You can buy GLD if it breaks out. Silver's back up against this kind of resistance area, about 7.25. We might even get back up to the downtrend line about 1750. And copper has been real strong, and it's still hanging out up here at the top. Let's go over to the sector list. So 6 of the 16 sectors we follow finished in the green today. The oil service index was the leader, up 1.09%. The home construction index was the weakest, down 2.17%. So over to the charts. I have a few charts, few that mostly few new ones. Most of them we've already seen. This AIXG is still holding up really well, which is a competitor to like CREE, C-R-E-E. Vodafone still holding up well. It's breaking up higher. VOD. Cat's holding well. Whoops, Cat. Another one's holding well right up here. IGT is about to break out, but I wouldn't buy it unless it breaks out above today's high with volume. FDX holding up really well. Medifast keeps wanting to go higher as long as it holds this trend line. Joseph A. Banks on earnings, huge gap up on earnings. Crocs seems to want to go higher. Retail's doing pretty well. Good volume in Crocs. This Aruba network still holding up really well. Wafer broke out actually yesterday with lots of volume. Still holding up well. Of course, it hasn't really gone anywhere since it broke out. Green Mountain Coffee seems to want to go higher. Lots of volume kicking back in, so seems like it wants to go higher no matter what the market does. Keep an eye on FCX. It's holding up after it broke out. Rand Gold broke out above its downtrend line today with some volume. Keep it on your list. PNC was bought off its uptrend line today, so that one's looking good. TSL's looking good, still holding above its where it broke out from. CSIQ still holding above the 2365 or so area where it broke out. SOL still holding up. BAC looks like a bull flag, so keep an eye on a break down out of the flag or a break to the upside out of the flag. Teva, same way, bull flag, keep an eye on it. Celgene, it's retested this breakout level at 62, so as long as it holds this and holds this uptrend line here, Celgene could be good to go long. CHK, I like it. Looks like it's in a kind of a continuation wedge, falling wedge, but it needs to take out this 24 with volume, and I wouldn't touch it until it does it. And then here's some ideas to protect your portfolio. If the market weakens, you could go long the short Dow, the DOG. You actually go long that, so you're people that can't short. You can do this in your IRA. SDS is another one you could go long, and you can see they're starting to break above their downtrend lines, just peeking above there just a little bit. And remember, these are trades, so you got to watch these really close and moving in and out of these. Maybe it'll last a day, maybe it's a half a day, maybe it's a week or two. Who knows? You never know with these. TZA, this is the small cap bear 3 times. So you would go long this. This is already broken out above its downtrend line. This little TZA you could go long. And of course, you could do like some puts on the IWM. Lots of people have been doing puts on the IWM, and I'm sure that's a lot of the bearish. So there's some ideas there. Let's go take a look at the current market signals. We follow the point and figure charts of the Dow, Nasdaq, and S&P. Of course, we haven't moved enough. All this still looks good, still on buy, big price objectives. The only thing I will note real quick is the Russell. Will actually, it has to pull its price of 800. If we can print 665, we're at 660. We're at 678 right now. If we print 665 on the Russell, which is a little way, quite a ways down here, we will go on a sell signal on the Russell. So it's something to watch. 665 area on the Russell, which is quite a ways down. But all right. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching InvestSharp's daily market analysis.